Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate and the Sinai Liberation Day, the 39th anniversary, as we did see in the past report. The efforts of the government under the political leadership and the leadership of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to be developing Sinai in the past 6 or 7 years, and the billions of pounds and the billions of dollars that will be pumped into Sinai through investments for the development process of it, as we are celebrating the regaining of Sinai 39 years ago in 1982. I'm honored to be having with me today in the studio Dr. Yasser Mahgoub, the Professor of Architecture and the Urban Planning at Al Galala University. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate. A happy Ramadan and a happy Palm Sunday.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. A happy Ramadan and Palm Sunday, and very happy to be here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
First of all, starting with the speech of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the messages that stood out today, celebrating 3 different occasions, and 2 days ago we celebrated the 10th of Ramadan war victory, coinciding with the 6th of October war victory. How do you see the messages that stood out through the speech of President al-Sisi on this occasion?
I think the messages are very clear to all Egyptians, highlighting the significance and importance of Sinai for everyone. Sinai is a critical part of Egypt, and it has always been the gate to Egypt. And as Gamal Hamdan said, whoever controls Sinai controls Egypt. That's why protecting Egypt was a historical mission for all governments and kingdoms that controlled Egypt. So Sinai is becoming more and more an opportunity for investment and opportunity for development. And I think all the efforts that are being done in tunnels, roads, universities, agriculture, water, are all in the right direction for a meaningful, sustainable development of Sinai.
Yes, all those sectors and fields are very important for the development of Sinai, but the most important statistic is the money. 6.8 billion pounds will be pumped into Sinai for the development of Sinai in the fiscal year 2020-2021. How do you see this sum of money and how it would be used in Sinai?
I think this sum of money is long overdue for Sinai, and I think Sinai deserves twice as much of this money in the near future. It's a land of opportunities. You have all kinds of development opportunities that you can work for. Education, tourism, mining, fishing, agriculture, all sorts of developments are available there. I think what I am more focusing on is the individual, the human being.
Yes.
I think all this effort is directed towards developing human beings and providing high quality of life for all people that want to live there. I am now living in Galala city, and I think it is part of this effort of developing Sinai and the Gulf of Suez, and I think the many Egyptians are now going out of the traditional way of life and live outside the traditional valley and delta.
Yes, one of the main priorities of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in the past few years is to be building the characteristics of the Egyptians, to be building the youth, as we did see the World Youth Forum is being held in Sinai virtually every year before the coronavirus pandemic hit the country. How do you see the importance, as you've mentioned, building the human characteristic, building the human characters in Egypt, the youth of Egypt, and the efforts that were done by President Al-Sisi and the political leadership in general.
Yes, as you notice, the youth in Egypt nowadays, they don't go to the traditional tourism places where we used to go to. They all like to go to Sinai, mountain climbing, mountain trails. They go to exotic areas like Halayb and Shalatin. Yes. They go to Marsalam, to Dahab, to Nuweiba. So they are exploring Egypt even more than the older generation. And I think they are more interested in living outside Cairo than the old generation that was more tied to Cairo and the old way of life. So I think the youth is the key for the success. That's why you find the establishment of universities. Universities is youth. It's not faculty members or administrators. No, it is the students, the university students who are going back and forth, exploring the areas, studying in new environments that never happened before. Our students, they study in the midst of mountains, and they explore the areas. Yes, at Al-Galala University. So it's a unique environment to study in, to see the
calm atmosphere.
It's a calm atmosphere, and also you feel the power of nature. While you think that these mountains are quiet and static, they actually not. They are very dynamic and very strong, and the nature there is very strong. So I think the success will depend on how do we motivate the youth to really start new ways of life that were never available for us before.
Yes, on the daily debate before, you've mentioned, Doctor, that each city has different characteristics. They have different characters. How do you see, and identities. How do you see the cities that are being built, the universities that are being built outside of Cairo, more specifically today in Sinai?
Yes.
What are the identities that they reflect?
We have now Salman University, which is also there was Sinai University in Arish. Salman University has 3 campuses: Sharm el-Sheikh, Tur, Ras Sidr, and there are also 2 other universities planned for New Ismailia and Salam City, east of Port Said. And there is also a technological university in Salam City, near east of Port Said. So, and this is in addition to the renovation and the refurbishment of large number of schools and institutions that are already there. There is also a large complex of Al-Azhar colleges that is being constructed there, and this is very important to spread the moderate Islam vision in the area and in the region. And I think this is very much needed to be activated as soon as possible.
In Sinai, how do you see the relationship between national security, economic development, and people living in Sinai more now?
I think the more people you have, the more security you have, security you have in the region. So people will create this security by being there and claiming the area for themselves, going back and forth, using the facilities. Actually, the problems that we had in the past were due to the isolation and lack of connectivity with Sinai. You take several hours to cross the Suez Canal by a boat and come back, waiting 4 or 5 hours. So people were reluctant to go there. But now, with all these tunnels, since Ahmed Hamdi's tunnel, and there is now a second Ahmed Hamdi tunnel.
Yes.
And there are also 2 tunnels in Port Said and 2 tunnels in Ismailia, and the expansion of Al Fardan Bridge and other floating bridges along the Suez Canal. I think Sinai is no longer isolated from Egypt. It is very much connected, and all the infrastructure is already there. The roads, Al-Naqab road is open for commerce with and trading with Saudi Arabia and Jordan. And I think now is the time to think about a bridge or a tunnel to connect Egypt and Saudi Arabia with the new NEOM project in Saudi Arabia and the Line City that is going to be constructed across from Sharm el-Sheikh. I think this is the time to establish this tunnel, exactly like the tunnel between France and England. It's very possible, and it's not very feasible to do. And I think it will change the whole geography and human connection of the region.
Yeah, speaking of the tunnels that are or were built between the Delta,
yes,
between Ismailia, between Port Said and Sinai, and of course the new Ahmed Hamdi tunnel, the second Ahmed Hamdi tunnel. Yes. How do you see the importance of building all those tunnels and in such a short space of time under the leadership of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi?
Yes, this is a great achievement in a very short time because it was long overdue. These tunnels should have been built immediately after the 1973 victory.
Yes.
And once we regained Sinai, we should have started doing this immediately. Of course, the political disturbances and the instability in the region delayed this, but now is the time to actually start utilizing them, not only building them. So I think the tunnels, the airports that are being constructed there, and Al Arish Airport and the Bardawil International Airport, and the new port in Al Arish that is going to be another port in the Mediterranean. So Sinai is very unique. It has a Mediterranean identity, and it has a Red Sea identity, has African identity, it has Asian identity. This is it's a jewel of the continent, and it does not really belong here or there. It's a unique part of the earth that really deserves much attention. And I think the more and more opportunities will be open based on all this infrastructure that already constructed there.
Yes, today we are celebrating the 39th anniversary of the liberation of Sinai. Yes. Due to the efforts of the diplomats and the politicians and the October War victory and the armed forces in 1973. And today as well, we are speaking about the development of Sinai, building tunnels, building cities, building universities. But after eradicating terrorism in Sinai, yes, in the past few years, in the past 5 or 6 years, how do you see the importance or the role of the armed forces in the development of Sinai now?
Well, having peace is the first step to have development. You cannot have development if you don't have peace. This is a base for everything.
Yes.
Everything, tourism, industries, education, housing, health, anything has to have peace and security. This is in Maslow's pyramid of needs. This is the basic element of the needs. So after that, you can have other levels of self-actualization, self-esteem, and self-development. So security and peace must be there and must be maintained and must be under control all the time. So I think without the army's efforts to eradicate the terrorism that we suffered from for many years, especially past 10 years. And we were successful in bringing Sinai again to a peaceful environment, open for opportunities and development.
In your opinion, how has the face of Sinai changed since 1982 and up till now?
Well, 1982, I was in Sinai immediately after after the liberation,
yes.
And we were going around looking at what the occupiers left there, and how did they enjoy our country that we didn't have the chance to see before.
Yes.
We visited all the settlements that they did before, the developments in Sharm el-Sheikh, in Taba, in Nueva, and we were thinking about, and the road network was magnificent. It was very different than what we had in Egypt in the 80s. And so we were thinking, how do those people enjoy our wealth, and we are not enjoying it, and we are not utilizing it. So actually it was an alarming condition that I was in my early 20s at that time. So we were really thinking about, how come we have all this beauty and we are not using it? We are not benefiting from it. Also, my father was a geologist, and he was telling me all the time about the wealth of minerals and that is in Sinai, and also in Ain Sokhna, where Galala is close to. This was a port, a pharaonic port, since the Khufu time. This was the port where the pharaohs used to get the sapphire and the copper from Sinai and transfer it to Cairo after that. So it was an old port, and there are remains.
Is it still working?
No, it's an archaeological site that it has remains. No, it has remains of ancient Egyptian inscriptions.
Yes.
The hot spring, or Al-Ain al-Sukhna itself, is still there. But of course it needs renovation, and it can be a magnificent touristic attraction for health development and health tourism. A hospital and a wellness center can be developed there. And there are other hot springs around the mountain, because these are rainwater that go through the mountain and go out carrying all the minerals of the mountain. So it's still there, and there are many opportunities for development in the area.
What are in your opinion, the main opportunities of development, the economic development and social development for the Sinai residents?
Everything. It's open everywhere. You have the Suez Canal development area, you have the east of Port Said, you have economic zones, you have ports, you have universities, you have tourism in Sharm el-Sheikh all the way to Taba. You have oil production in the west coast of Sinai. You have mountains, beautiful mountains, religious attractions, Moses Mountain, St. Catherine. Everything is there. You have all opportunities for development and prosperity in the area. You just want to have, you already opened the opportunities. So I think projects will start to happen. And I think in the near future we will start to see big human change, not only infrastructure change.
And you have new fields of higher education at Al Galala University, including architecture.
Yes,
and this could be leading to graduates who are they have a profession of architecture. They are majored in architecture and could be working in Sinai.
Yes, of course, we have faculty of architecture in Egypt, which is one of the first in the country. And we also have excellent facilities. And we are establishing observatory, environmental observatory and urban observatory in the university, where we can monitor the developments and provide consultations for opportunities, and also provide research and publications, and we are a center of knowledge. And we have 15 disciplines, and we have more than 50 programs. It's a new way of learning that students can develop their skills in different programs together. This is the same also in Salman University, in Alamein University, Mansoura University. I think this new strategy and vision of education is going to be reflected very soon on the Egyptian society.
Yes, and finally, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, he also ordered to be building a new housing projects for the Sinai residents on the same style that they were living in the past, the Sinai Bedouins. How do you see the importance of that?
I think this is one of the main achievements of this development, is to recognize
to preserve
locals,
the identity,
the people of the place, and their cultures and their needs. So this is a new approach of what we call the developmental communities. And these developmental communities are not only residential, and that is very important. If you give a person a house only, they will not live in it. If you give them house and job, they will live in it. If you give them job, they will find a house. Jobs are more important. So these developmental communities, 17 residential and agricultural communities were built there, hosting 2,327 Bedouin houses. And these are opportunities for Bedouins not only to stay in houses, but also to have something to do. And live in their traditional way of life, and have a source of income.
And they wouldn't think of leaving Sinai for other places inside Egypt or outside of it. Dr. Yasser Mahgoub, the Professor of Architecture and the Urban Planning at Al Galala University. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on, of course, the anniversary of the liberation of Sinai, and the happy Ramadan and the happy Palm Sunday.
Thank you, Ahmed, very much, and happy Ramadan and happy Palm Sunday for everyone, and long live Egypt.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And this brings us to the end of the Daily Debate for tonight. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.